Family and friends have bid farewell to media personality Warwick Stock, known as DJ Wareas, at a funeral service in Rosebank. He was gunned down in the Johannesburg CBD a week ago. The two men arrested for his murder are expected to appear in court tomorrow. Police say the men were involved in the attack, all of whom were captured on CCTV. Newzroom Afrika's Ngobile Madlala joins us live from the funeral service. Ngobile, thanks for your time. It was quite a moving procession over there, where we heard from the family members, him being described. But of course, the family, just take us through what is happening now.
Well, we also heard from the family, Veronica, that the end of the program or the service that was taking place here meant that the family and friends can now share their memories, but also it's the end of it today, mainly because they are going to be proceeding with cremation, which is also going to be private. But those that have spent time with DJ Wareas, that have known him quite personally, are also here sharing some memories. And I'm going to bring in some of those guests that are just right behind me to give me more details just around how they have worked with DJ Wareas and also how they currently know him. So I'm going to start from my right-hand side and just to get details around how you've worked with DJ Wareas and what do you remember about him now?
Where do I start? My relationship with Wareas goes way back. YFM, that's where we met. I was an intern coming into the YFM space. He was a guy who was about to jump on the lineup and get his own show. He had been standing in for several people. But the thing about Wareas, he was a guy who really didn't treat himself like the celebrity. He just always made time to chat to us as interns. He was the big brother, had so many stories, had so much advice, was always open for you coming with him to party at Vakamata. Vakamata was a big deal way back in the day. And then as we grew up in the ranks, our relationship, expanded outside of the radio, and he was just always there. We chat, would speak, we had a common story, which is Prime Friday, so we'd always make jokes about that. But he was a guy, man, full of jokes. Every time you would see me, I said this also when I sent through that video, he was one of the few people in the industry who would say, "Hey, Sabelo, all right in front of him." And whenever anyone calls me Sabelo, there's something about me that feels like because it's rare. And there was Wareas, man. He always, I was saying in another interview, it's hitting me now. Wareas was always listening to us. We'd always tell him stuff or would have conversations about a whole lot of stuff. But it's rare that we asked him more about him. And like I'm finding out a whole lot of stuff now that he's late, and it just reminded me he was truly that guy. Like, he was always listening to other people. Wareas would always make time for other people. He'd always make time to chat to you. And Wareas had stories for days.
And I want to talk about those stories. What would you share?
I've known him for a very long time. I first knew him on the party scene because he used to be the third triplet with the twins on deck. I think they were called Triple T or whatever. So I met him on that scene. And then one random day, I was listening to the radio driving back from a gig. I switched on YFM. I'm like, and that turned out to be Wareas because he didn't know how to actually play music. So he just spoke for like 20 minutes. I remember that. I was there for that link. And then from there, we were like brothers, And I was hoping I'd have him in my life for longer because every time he sang out, it was a good time. And he always left that conversation with something to think about because he was just the kind of guy that thought a lot, even like with the simplest things. But I should know, man, Wareas planted something in my mind. So he also came to our show on Kakazi FM, I think about 3 weeks ago, randomly, and I called, "Hey, Spay, no USB on filing on your DJ." And then we just spoke again, and we actually posted that interview. And once again, it was pearls of wisdom, pearls of life. So I will always miss that. I like about my friend.
And what will you miss the most about him?
So we actually recorded with Wareas a month ago, and there's a moment where his son calls, and he literally just answers while on the mic. And then they chat. And I'm watching this guy and how authentic he is and how much of a father he is and how relatable Wareas is. And even the conversation was typical Wareas, And I'm just like, it takes something for a man to be that authentic, for that to be open, to be honest, to be loving. Yeah, man, Wareas will miss him, We'll really miss him, I think, in a short space of time because I only met him last year. And in that little time, it felt like I've known him for 50 years. And I learned so much, and those are the things that will remind us of him, his beautiful family, his sons, and how of a father he really was, not just to them, but also a bigger brother to us. So ulali kodwa msakuthanda.
And I want to just ask, what would you say he has left behind in terms of the inspiration that he has put in your life specifically?
So for me, it's just being authentic. Wareas, who he is behind the camera, next to the camera, who he is on a Sunday, you know, he's the same guy, you know. So what you see is what you get. He's loving, he truly, truly is. One of the lessons that will always stick with me is, I love you, bro. You know, and we issue with the warm hearts. He's not trying to, Yabona, my friend, Yabona, even when he embraces you, Mike Shang in WhatsApp randomly, you know, Mike Fonel Wareas doesn't mind spending an hour on the phone. Those are the most random things. He was authentically him. He was loving, he was genuine, he was open, he was honest. And I think that's what I'll try and bring into my life and I'll practice a little bit more.
What's your lesson?
I think for me, it's just the loss of a patriot. Like, it's somebody that definitely loved this country and spoke out like about all the ills and all the things that can be fixed about this country. So I'm hoping with him, his leaving us so soon inspires others to take up that mantle, because a lot.
All right, we'll continue to get those reactions from our reporter Ngobile Matlala.